Assassination Classroom Season 2, Episode 24. Penultimate episode. He's an amazing man. They're deliberately making this very sad. It's not fair. I see what you're doing and it's not fair and I don't like it. 24th period, graduation time. How did we get to this? How did we already get here? Nagisa, bless you. Thanks for your help, Itona, by the way. You're welcome. That you're alive. Did you really do that? At this late hour? Goodbye. Oh yeah, I mean he's on the verge of death. Yeah, he took a lot of damage. Well, he saved a student. One of them. The other one he killed. Yeah, I mean he's expecting and has accepted his death. No, I don't accept it. I don't want to accept it. Not like this. Even the AI is sad. We can maybe think of a plan in 28 minutes. You have to decide one way or the other. That's true. Me, I don't want to kill Koro-sensei. Good, good. This is sort of a relief. Yeah, no, who wants to kill Koro-sensei? No one. It's unanimous, right? Nagisa. Kaede. Karma. A couple people. Oh, it's everyone. Everyone doesn't want to kill him and everyone wants to kill him. I see. I don't like it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. I'm not ready to accept what they're accepting. I don't think he needs to be held down at this point. He probably could. Okay, I'm struggling with this. I'm really struggling because I don't want it to happen. And I think the fact that you can't see a solution and there's imminent death doesn't mean you have to be the ones. You don't have to look at this as an A-B choice. I'm not saying that they can find a solution in the time allotted. That is sort of unknown at this point if that's possible. They don't see a solution now, time's running out. It's very likely that that would fail. But in Koro-sensei's spirit, I don't know if the decision is necessarily all about the outcome anyway. I mean, I think the decision is about the decision and what you stand for. So if they spent their last moments fighting to try to find a way to save him, as difficult, as unrealistic as that might be, I think maybe there's some slim chance they could find a solution, but in the likely event that they fail that, I think that gets written in memory a little bit different over time. Like, it will be devastating in exactly the same way, in all the same ways, maybe even more intensely in the moment of failure if he actually dies. But down the road, there's something about like never giving up, fighting for what you believe in, and not participating in an evil because you think it's inevitable. To round this out, I'll try to argue the other point, which is that there's something to admitting when you're beaten. There's a grace to accepting things that are out of your control if you decide that things out of your control. And there's also an element here of respecting Koro-sensei's wishes. There's a symbolic element of completing the circle and doing what he's requested of them. There's maybe a merciful element of it. There's a knowledge that if he survives, he will be hunted for the rest of his life, possibly, and they will maybe be seen as accomplices, which is difficult for them. That basically means their lives are not in pursuit of the things they've been exploring in the way they thought they would. Like, Nagisa wouldn't be a teacher, he would be a fugitive, and Koro-sensei wouldn't want that for them, etc., etc. Saying this out loud, there's a part of me that is hopeful that this is a classic anime misdirect, that they're all in on something right now, or they will soon be all in on something collectively that the audience doesn't know about, where there actually is a plan to save him, but they have to make it look convincing for the people watching so that there can be a good outcome for all of them without this relentless hunting of all of them. Right on the moon. Probably Nagisa. It sort of has to be Nagisa. And he's been kind of the star student in many ways. And also the legacy. Nagisa will become the teacher in the most direct way of looking at it. They're all his legacy. Dude, you gotta give words first, though. You all have words. You all have something to say if you, in fact, are going through with this. And we all need to say our goodbyes to you, man. I think Irina will never kill again. Karasuma? Yeah, he was a very big part of it. He will honor that. And thank you. Not that he needs it. This is true. This is an interesting way of doing this, just like always. Normalcy in an event like this. Imagine skipping class today. And this was the rest of the episode. Hard to answer for some of them. I don't think I was prepared for this episode, even though I knew it was the end. It looks like they are pretty sincere about actually going through with this. My hopes for a misdirect are quickly fading. I think we missed a few people there, didn't we? Okay. We're gonna intersperse some monologuing. Man, it's crazy like knowing this is the premise and this is going to happen eventually, how much you don't want it, and how different it feels now from the beginning. Getting your wishes and not knowing what they meant, but also getting so much more in the process. All of them looking very different now as well. She looks like she's in the best mind state about it. Tentacles! We got one more! We got a final tentacles. This may be goodbye to tentacles. What do your tentacles want to be? Tentacles. You are my tentacles. Tentacles. For sure. It was completely mutual. Oh. Imagine if we had used this time for a plan. No. I don't know what it would have been. Ritsu maybe could have tried hacking the satellite. Please let this be a fake out. With the full spirit of your lives. Maybe we can take that as a metaphor for his death then. I love all these understatements of this year. Like, you know, it was just a slightly special year. That is going to be difficult, Koro-sensei. No. For all of life, I feel like it's a key thing there. Key phrase. Do you? Do you? I don't know. I'm so conflicted. Here's a way of looking at it in which killing him is a good thing. If we're just removing the logistical thing a bit, and we're also not looking so heavily at some of the lessons about like, you know, you do everything you can always, and you follow the best thing you can imagine at all times without excuses. And instead we're looking purely at the metaphor of teacher and student, then there is something really beautiful about it, which is that if it's done in true service, it's never about you in the first place. It's about contributing to the legacy. And your place in that is permanent and maybe non-glorious and unglamorous. And that's okay, and even great, because success is not defined along those terms. Success is about completing the mission, which is like your contribution means something and the people take your contribution and run with it and make great contributions of their own in an iterative process that is beautiful when looked at as a whole, as all of humanity, as a train of person to person, parent to child, teacher to student, generation to generation, as all part of the same stream where even long after you're gone and no one remembers your name or thinks about you, you are an encoded piece of that river now and forever. And I think maybe initially it feels sort of sad and defeating and nihilistic look at that way, but the more you evaluate it on the scale of what really matters, the more beautiful it gets. And you can even get to a point where you're like, well, what would even be better than that? You know, momentary pleasure? Better than being a part of all of existence and having made a contribution that rippled out infinitely into the stream of cause and effect for all of humanity's future and everyone to follow? I mean, what was going to be better than that in your lifetime? What was going to be more important? Some attention? An extra couple years of life? Your possessions? What could possibly hold a candle to this? And in that way, just part of that system is your replacement and your fading. And yeah, you can mourn the loss of the person as a way of honoring them, and it's sad that there is ends to things, but with that as a given, there's a lot to celebrate. And the students becoming this great, and the fact that there is this beauty in the world that made this whole thing possible, that this is a process that can be followed, that there are now carriers of that torch, it would have been a failure and would have been more sad if they didn't replace him, if this hadn't happened, even given this outcome. That's the argument I can make for the beauty in the students assassinating the teacher that they love so much. There's also an element of it of like death of oneself as a representation of like just growing up, you know, like growing up is often in a sense the death of your childhood. And even outside of the realm of children and adults, there's kind of a death and rebirth that happens with the understanding of personal agency and responsibility. The choice that Koro-sensei made when his girlfriend asked him not to leave. The death of that sort of animalistic selfishness as the cornerstone of your own personal internal hierarchy. Maybe they're all going to pitch in. Or nah, I'm so on edge. What did you do? Make you calm?
そんな気持ちで殺してはい
We're still teaching. We're still teaching at a moment like this.
笑顔で
This is the final lesson. It's hard. I mean, how do you stay calm in a moment like this? You just have to connect with it and see it as service or something of beauty for him. It's so sad because he just really loved them. That's all he ever gave them.
さような
I
ら
guess you focus on that.
コロ先生。
はいさようなら
At least he seems very at peace with it and calm.
余計な言葉はもう口に出さなかった。
There's nothing you can say to capture this anyway. He already knows all anyway. Damn. I was hoping till the end. And we get a final song from the kids.
卒業おめでとう。最後にそう言った
We
気
did
が
it.
した。
Damn, it's so sad. It's also beautiful. I mean, it's just what he wanted. He's actually proud. There was no way to do him wrong. This song is killing me. Yeah, he's not really gone in a key way. Yeah, let's go say calm now. I feel so bad for them. I needed so much for them, each of them individually. Even Karsuma. Oh, it's tough to watch.
一足先に僕らは暗殺教室を卒業した。
Congratulations. Oof, that was rough. It's hard to watch. It's interesting how like this weird alien thing, or what I thought would be an alien, ends up being a really great modern day Jesus allegory. It's a godlike task to get to this level, but it's really amazing and nice in that it brings it down to earth a little bit. It makes it more relatable and understandable conceptually, like why, how someone could be like this and what it means. Of course, as they went all the way to one end, only to realize that was a trap, and to go back to the beginning of the other, which is just like complete death of self, total service for something greater, which manifests as the kids. But I think to way abstract it, it's also a gift to a higher concept or higher ethos that can run through all people, all things. There's a lot of exploration in the show about, you follow the process, which means engaging with the real things. And you do those things to the best of your ability and you take them very seriously, like your tests and your grades, and you try to crush them. And they're really important in that way. And that is in service to something higher than that, which is something very hard to explain, but a current that flows through you, that builds you, that hones your focus or sharpens your blade on the things that truly matter, makes you more equipped to be in service of those things. And Koro-sensei ends up being that like at the most refined level. And that doesn't die with him. So it's just such a crazy mix of emotions where it's so tragic to lose him. It's also a celebration. I mean, there's a lot to be happy about. There's so much beauty in the fact that it did exist, and even more broadly than that, there's so much beauty in the fact that it can exist at all for those who can find it and harness it and experience it and pass it along to others. Where do we go from here? I guess just taking it a day at a time. Oh, he left them with some very heavy gifts.
全員分の卒業証書と卒業アルバム。
And the yearbook.
生徒それぞれのアドバイスブックが置いてあった。いつの間にかレーザーは撃たれたそうだけど、あの時の僕らには
Doesn't affect you, right?
校舎内での生徒たちは俺の管轄だ。
Protecting them.
コロ先生が作ってくれた
Incredibly thick and heavy
アドバイスブック。
books that Koro-sensei had made.
端末につけた問題集ですがね商品化してもいい出来だと思うんですよ短編小説をつけて読み応えのある英単語
Or at least, are they also, yeah, they're educational in many ways.
アドバイスが細かすぎてうんざりして
A little too much. A little bit overboard, as always is the case. It's a good memory of him.
気がつけばみんな涙を忘れてぐっすり眠っていた。
They have a lot to feel good about.
早咲きの桜が小さく強く揺れていた。
Wow. I didn't expect it was going to happen this episode. If I'm being honest, I was hoping it wouldn't happen at all. I can't believe it. It caught me off guard. I guess next episode, an epilogue. And maybe the reveal that Koro-sensei has been alive this whole time. Maybe that actually would be the best because he gets to live. But the kids get to know they went through with it. And all the lessons that are in there still apply with him alive. Please. My denial always throws me in weird directions in these moments. Congratulations on your graduation. He thought of everything to the last. I'll accept his death, and I think it does make a lot of sense and close the arc thematically along those particular lines. Another argument or interpretation in favor of this is like part of the pursuit of the beauty of this and living in service to others and just trying to get as close to that source of goodness as possible also means doing that in acceptance of the truth. And one of those things is impermanence. We want to like fight the impermanence as I want to fight the reality of his death just because it's painful and it's sad, but that's not the entirety of the assessment. Because I think in this system system of thinking. The beauty is much bigger than us, and the real gift is that we get to participate in it at all. And that's true regardless of the facts of impermanence. It's reorienting the reward, the beauty, as the good in itself, as opposed to the net result of the thing. Koro-sensei is sort of immortal in a certain way of looking at it. He has something so pure, it can't really be killed, even if the individual is gone. He was a vessel for something that continues to endure. And I think that's what's meant by that cliche of we're never really gone. Nobody outside of the kids will mourn for him, and nobody after the kids will remember him. But it doesn't change who he was and what he did and what he stood for. And the goodness that was in him that still continues to exist and be passed on from him to who knows what, who knows who, for the rest of humanity's existence. And maybe even beyond that in ways we can't imagine. I think the kids being who they are and learning what they've learned from him, they will miss him, they will be sad, but they will interpret this in a manner that is in tribute to that spirit that he passed on to them.